What's going on out there, American truckers? Alright, I'm fixing to show you a video of a driver who got fired from Schneider National. Excuse me. And then I took an excerpt from a live where I talked to another Schneider driver who y'all may know, Nomadic-Brit. And I made a video out of this so that we can kind of take a look at the full story around this Schneider driver who got terminated for vlogging while driving. Never a good idea, drivers. Never a good idea. First off, welcome to Trucking with Olesnapper. I'm Olesnapper. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. All that good stuff that YouTubers say. I appreciate all of y'all for got tongue tied. I appreciate all of y'all for watching. Let's get into this.
To do a Q&A at the beginning of every single video. So if you want to be featured, go ahead and hit the comment section down below for this.
How's it going, Nomadic?
Not too bad. I'm trying to balance my bloody phone because I broke the bloody stand. No,
Go for
all
it.
I want to say is with regard to Schneider, me, Southbounders with Schneider, what you got to do when you want to first do any type of videoing and stuff like that is get hold of your boss. Like my DBAs went through to the legal department just to put yourself on register to confirm that you want to do this. They will tell you what you can and cannot do. Now, I followed that. Some of it is basic. We don't give out shippers' names. We don't give out receivers' names. We don't video while we're driving and stuff. I've got a GoPro, but it's fixed to the windscreen or windshield, as you call it. I don't do any of the head stuff. They've got a very simple process. And now I believe that there's some other things involved because they couldn't just fire him because he made one thing using it on his strap to his head. There's other things involved. Granted, he's a trainee, the second one, because it was the first one was been there a few months or something.
Right.
But that I've seen so many videos about everybody bashing Schneider. I'm not going to stick up for Schneider. At the end of the day, I'm a contractor. I have no reason to do that. But I will say that Schneider's good to me. I'm good to Schneider, you know? And that is the other side to the story. Something else has gone on. It isn't just a clear cut. They sacked him because he did this. Because, like I say, if you go through the right channels, there isn't a problem with Schneider. Don't have a problem. And Schneider will actually use the new contractors coming on now with Tanker. They actually tell them to watch my videos. So.
And that's what I was saying. I was wondering if there was more to it in the background that maybe wasn't released. You know, because we're going on what that gentleman said because he released a video saying Schneider fired me for doing YouTube. Sounds like he's video, and from what he released, it didn't look like anything was wrong. But as you and I both know, there can be a lot more to the story. You know that we're just not getting.
Plus, he's gained a ton of press from that. He's gained so many. I'm not being derogatory to the young chap. I don't know the young chap in any way or form. But to be fair, he's on different things from like Asian Mile. I was talking to Alex about this last night and stuff like that. He's gained so much momentum through just saying something like this. And
right.
I don't know. Like I say, if there's something else to it. Maybe it wasn't for him and things like that. And he's decided to make a bit more out of it. But I know what I had to do.
For the views.
Say it again.
It could be for the views.
That's what I'm saying. You know, like I say, I'm not going to be derogatory to the young chap because, like I say, I don't know him. He's probably he comes across as a nice chap, you know. But it's simple. If you want a video and stuff out for Schneider, go through to their office. They don't have a problem with it. You know, just do the right thing. You know, like I say. But it's just that I've seen so many people having to bash him. I know Mr. Ike was on earlier on, and Mr. Ike has worked for Schneider. So yes, he knows what's involved, but I that's why I think that there's something else that hasn't come out, you know.
And Ike talked about he had done that while he was at Schneider. He had made a video with a headset on. Ike talked about that.
Right.
And T-Bone may be right. T-Bone said maybe he just did it without going through the proper channels. then again, that should be only a warning, and I
That's
agree.
why I'm saying I think there's something else amiss here, because Schneider would have given them a warning. To be fair, one of my videos actually caught a shipper's name, and I normally edit them to everything. I make sure that I don't disclose where I am, who we're pulling for, or whatever, because you just don't do that. Whoever you work for, it doesn't matter whether they work
Right,
for Schneider or not. And that somebody saw that, reported it, and went through to that relevant company. They got on to Schneider, and Schneider said to me, "Can you please take that down?" And I had no
right,
problem taking it down, because there is etiquette. My mistake. I just caught the last bit of this company's name, so I took it down. Um,
correct.
you know, so
And we have the same deal here. I make videos, but I'm not allowed to do it on other companies' property. I'm not allowed to get their information, on the
right,
video, stuff like that. So I have to take a little bit of thought and process into, like when I do backing videos, where I'm at, what all's in the camera shot, all that kind of stuff. So
right.
I
I
can
mean, yeah, because
understand that. And was he a driver or a student? You said a while
he was
ago he was
the
training.
second one was a student. The
Mm,
one that was on Mr. Ike's video earlier on, he was a student.
okay.
Um, and from day one, he was straight in the trainer's face and everything. So I don't
Mm,
know, like I said, what else has gone on, but I can't speak for the first chap. There was another chap as well that got let go over the self same thing or whatever, But like I say, I can't speak for that, for that gentleman. But
right.
the second one was definitely a student. So,
Well, being a student, that has a little bit different play in it as well. I know
hmm
whenever I was a trainer, I didn't talk on my phone even with a hands-free device, and they weren't allowed to either because we were in the
right.
process of training. So the fact that he's doing that as a student, that holds a little bit different bearing to it because he's not experienced at all. He needs 100% of his focus on the road, not thinking about what he's telling the camera in order to stay entertaining.
See, also with Schneider is like that we can't have. I've got headset on now because I use it. I use this when I'm stationary and the engine's switched off and I need to ring my missus. That's when I use this. But Southbound will tell you as well, Schneider do not allow it. And you've got to realize that if you're going to work for Schneider and you've signed that dotted line, you have to abide by their rules. Like with you at Crete, you have to abide by their rules. While
Correct.
you're under contract with them, like it or not,
Correct.
that's, whichever way you slice it, you've got to abide by their rules.
Yeah, and I mean that is the way it is. If I wanted to do something different, I'd either have to go
hmm
to work for a company that allowed it or just go
Right,
off on my own. I have to follow the rules for where I work at. And
right.
being it's a public platform, they see everything we put out, even the stuff they don't talk to us about. They see it. And being you work for the company, I'm sure they look at everything we put out to see if they're
hmm
mentioned in it. And
Yeah,
especially in a bad light.
because Schneider will use that as well. Because if it comes across as you're saying something that is going to be derogatory to them, I mean, they're starting to get more involved with a lot more media,
Yeah.
and they start to do a lot more lives that I get involved with to help them out because they don't fully take it on board when they get onto YouTube when they go live. They're not answering the
Right.
questions. They're not doing this and stuff. And I've put stuff into my boss to say, look, whoever's doing those, they need to get a grip of it. Because if you're going to go on YouTube, you better be answering those questions. You better do this, that, and everything else. Um,
Yeah. You're 100% right. And more of these companies are getting involved with YouTube lives. I know our company started to, I think, a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago.
right.
Um, you got more and more of these companies out here getting involved with going live or answering questions or talking about the company themselves.
hmm
It's a great tool, and this new generation is into that. That's what they look at when they don't come out and talk to us anymore. They don't come out and talk to the existing drivers as much as they used to. They
Correct.
get online and look at the reviews on a company. It drives me nuts. But when I take my son out to eat, that's what he wants to do. He wants to get on. Let's see the reviews of this restaurant. You know, it's like, you're never going to see good reviews. Anytime someone writes a
I
review, it's most of the time going to be bad.
I heard that today when somebody said that the only people that write reviews are ones that are going to write bad reviews. You generally don't see good reviews because if they're fine with it. But a bad review, they're going to make sure they want to let you know that it's a bad review.
Right. And myself, when I'm looking at another company, or even if I just want to get information on them to put on my channel, sometimes I talk about other companies and stuff. I ask the drivers, I'll go look at their reviews too, but I want to ask the drivers, the ones that are currently working there, rather than just
Right.
going off the reviews. See what
Right.
Ben's had to say here. Ben said mega carriers are cracking down on trainees who have YouTube channels for distracted driving. In the past 2 to 3 weeks, or in the past week, 3 have been terminated. Bobby Reach and Tiki from Schneider and Rare TV from Prime. I'm really surprised Prime did that, because Prime's got a ton of people on their
They're
on
probably the
YouTube.
biggest on YouTube. They got so many people. So I think the thing is, when you join Prime, you've got to make sure you got a YouTube channel. just, it
Yeah,
just
they
is,
got so many people. I think it is a requirement over your company to
I
have
know.
one. And they put out so many videos every day, because I'll go through and at them. I never worked at Prime, but I'll go through checking them out and taking a look at who's out there. And I sometimes wonder, do they haul any freight? Because there's so many of them, and you can
I
click over
know.
there at any point in time, and there's a dozen videos to read.
I know. It's like on.
Brandon said,
Yeah,
go
go on.
ahead.
No, all I was
Brandon
saying
said,
is that on the
no, go
videos
ahead.
that I do, all the videos I do is just um, it's my channel, but it's all predominantly based around tankers because unfortunately with tankers, people get hurt because of what we do and what we're working with. And it's not just Schneider tanker drivers that follow me, it's others like QC, HNF, stuff like that, because we all use the same thing. And my channel was just to try and help people, to try and not get hurt. And if people aren't getting hurt and they've watched that, and it's amazing lately how many people come up to me and say, you're that British guy, and I've seen it and stuff, which is weird because I don't know any of these people because I don't know how I see who's following me and whatever. But it's just weird. I'm just trying to do my videos just to help people not to get hurt because this is a big industry, tankers, where people get hurt. So
Right.
that's all I want to
Yeah,
say.
tankers is probably one of the most common ones for people to get hurt in. That and
Hmm.
flatbed. When I worked
Right.
flatbed, a guy that was tarping a load next to me literally fell off his load in the middle of winter. Everything was iced up, and he broke 2 ribs. We had to get down there and get him back over to his truck and get him some help and all that kind of stuff. Brandon said, I follow all the rules all the time and have for the last 21 years, and that's facts. Well, I mean, if you work for a company, you have to. You ain't really got no choice,
Hmm.
We all do. We
Right.
have to follow the rules for wherever we work at. And that includes
Hmm.
whatever we do on social media. Firing people because they put a YouTube video out really is nothing new, because there's people been fired because of posts they made on YouTube or on Facebook. You know,
Right.
there, there's people been fired because of posts they made on TikTok, and some of these other platforms. So I mean, it's really nothing new to get
Hmm.
terminated for something like that.